Louis Vuitton is the #1 luxury brand in the world, valued at over $30 billion. Its history dates back to the 19th century and begins with a homeless teenager who could only dream of success. With no money or food, he worked odd jobs with artisans and craftsmen to survive, barely making any money but learned valuable skills that led to pioneering modern luggage and creating a billion-dollar empire. In the 19th century, Louis Vuitton was born and raised in Djali, France to a farmer and hat maker. During that time, France was still recovering from the Napoleonic Wars, and many farmers, including the Vuittons, faced bankruptcy. Starting from a young age, Louis had no choice but to work on the family farm. From dusk to dawn, he planted and harvested crops, raised the animals, and stockpiled firewood. When Louis turned 10, life became even more difficult. His mother passed away, and soon after, his father remarried. Louis' stepmother was as wicked as the villains in fairy tales. She made Louis' life miserable, and eventually, he had enough. After Louis turned 13, he quietly slipped away from the farmhouse and headed to Paris, with no money or food. Fortunately, Louis found odd jobs with artisans and craftsmen who taught him how to work with metal, stone, fabrics, and wood. Still, he had no money left over for shelter and became homeless. He often slept in the woods with only a cloak to keep him warm. At the time, the first railway line to Paris had just opened. Travel became more accessible and the industry started to boom. Craftsmen capitalized on this by making custom boxes for aristocrats. They often traveled with paintings, instruments, and furniture and needed boxes that could fit and withstand long trips. They also needed help with packing their belongings in a certain way to protect them from breaking. Since Louis learned some of the skills involved on his way to Paris, he decided to try and find work in the trade. Fortunately, a craftsman named Monsieur Maréchal hired Louis as an apprentice. While Louis didn't earn much, his willingness to learn paid off in more ways than one. He became a favorite amongst Maréchal's clients, and later the Empress of France appointed him as her personal box maker. After working for the Empress for a year, Louis became more in demand and opened his first shop.